I wanted to get married, but it was not something I was kneeling down and, I'm praying and kabashing and like, oh Lord, send him now. So, I was just going to live life. I was just going to live life with this relationship I was growing with God. I wasn't going to marry a man that was going to dim the already growing relationship I have with God. I will always submit to a man that submitted himself to God.
I said that to you when we first met, that I would make sure I follow God every step of the way.
I could see it in his words. I could see it in his actions. I've experienced it. When they say love of God, literally, this one is in play. I experienced it with him.
People see people together and they start telling people things. Sometimes those things can be good things, but in our case, they're not good things.
Oh God, I had a lot of things. I had a lot of things. People saying things. And trust me, there were things that could actually make someone just pause and like, calm down, girl. You sure you want to do this with this person?
Ours was negative, but sometimes it can be positive enforcement. People say, I approve.
Yeah.
I know this person is good.
Yeah.
Regardless, you really want to spend time with God for God to be the one to confirm. Before I got married, I don't know if you also did it. I was big on always asking people, how did you know this was the person? How did you know this is the one? What was the signs? What gave you the confidence to pick them? How did you arrive there? Because I had gone through a few heartbreaks and, relationships that crashed. And I was just wondering how people were able to navigate that. And I also have been asked those questions. How did you know there was a one? How did you get there? So today on this episode, we'll be sharing our story. And I said we because for the first time on Love With Any podcast, we'll be doing this with my wife.
Drum rolls.
Drum rolls, yeah. Drum rolls indeed. So this is not by any means trying to give you a template. This is just trying to allow you find principles from our stories. If you are about to get married, wanting to get married, engaged, you will just, get to learn something from this as to how we got to get married or pick ourselves as our persons. And that's how we got to this point. So I'll start with my first impression of my wife. How did we meet? I've always seen her from afar. We serve in the same local church. And she was a member. I was a member. That was the meeting, as the case may be. But my first impression of her, I was serving in a team and we're trying to do a promotion for one of the teams to get people to sign up to that group and get this thing done. So I was leading the promotion at the time. So I was working with the cinematographer. We're getting pictures, video clips, trying to create some content that we're going to use to help announce this team. And so we're outside of the church gate on the Sunday, trying to get different people. Oh, can we take pictures? Can we give you a short interview? Can you do this for us? And if you do this creative process, you most times imagine certain looks to match certain sets, certain personalities to cover certain things. So you could just speak to different demographics of people. Mm-hmm. So here she was coming. I'm like, oh, okay, she's a church member. Okay, we need you to help us do this thing. And just for a few minutes. You won't take your time at all. So she said, yes, she'll do it, but she needed to drop, what she was carrying at the time. So we're like, okay, great. We'll have somebody to do that bit for us. So we went on trying to get the other bits done. And we're almost done with the other bits. And I'm like, where's the person that said we're coming back since? Why? What's going on? And the guy was like, okay, I know her. Let me go call her. I know where she will be within the church space. And I waited outside just doing a few things. And the guy came back without her. I'm like, what happened? Where is she? He said, no, she said she doesn't want to do it, that she doesn't want to come out and all of that and all of that. And I'm like, what is she feeling like? What's the big deal? What's wrong with this? What's this?
I
Is this
can't remember.
This necessary?
I can't remember.
Then, I mean, we eventually had to find somebody else to help us through that. But, I mean, the fact that she said she was coming, even if she said she was not coming and she said no, I still would have been pissed because my brain at the time couldn't really comprehend somebody who is like, we're trying to paint your father's building or we're trying to promote your family. We're doing something for you. You are part of this family. And we say, let's do something. And then you say you cannot do it.
But you don't know the reason why I did not come.
I don't think there's a reason. I mean, even if there was a reason, you just said, the way the guy said, the guy was like, just leave her. She said she doesn't want to do this. I'm like, so it almost told me that the guy also felt like, well, this person is doing shakara.
Far from that.
Do you have a reason? You say you don't remember, so you cannot say you have a reason.
No, I would definitely, I would have had a reason for not coming back.
That was just
She
imaginative.
we were in our father's house. Maybe I was doing something. I got caught up in something
That was just imaginative reason. So, but what was your first impression of me?
Okay. I actually didn't know you personally, of course. And impression. I just knew as someone that was committed in church. I was always walking up and down church. Of course, you were busy. You were doing something. I didn't know the team you were serving in. I didn't know all those things. I just knew you were committed because I could see how people come to you for, back and forth. And so I just like, okay, this guy must be an important person. But yes, I've heard side comments about this, about that, but overall, I just saw you as a very committed person. I think that was it. There was no extra, no negative, no positive. Like you have negative. It was a negative impression. Mine was just neutral. It was just very neutral. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the side of the story on how we met?
Okay. Let me even think again. Okay. There's this lady in church. Or rather, there is this lady in church. Of course, you know who I'm talking about. So, our local church usually have something we call Hooked Series. It's a series that is usually done in the month of February. And I think that there was a Wednesday. Wednesday is like a midweek service. So, normal. I was serving in church that evening and she was in church. Someone I was not really acquainted with her at that moment. So it was time for question and answers and she, with a show of her hand, I actually thought she actually wanted a paper to write a question or so. So I went to meet her, smiling, of course. And I gave her the paper. And she said, no, she doesn't want to ask any question. I said, okay. She now said, what's my name? I said, my name is Jane. Smiling, of course. She now said, oh, Jane, are you married? I laughed. I said, no, I'm not. She now said, okay, good. I'll look for a husband for you. To me, I was like, who is this person? Are you serious? So I just laughed and like, okay, ma, thank you. And I walked away. So I think a few days later, she started. Okay, I met her again in the women meeting. I met her again, and she was. You remember that thing I told you? I'm on it. I'm like, this woman is serious. So, but anyways, I didn't put my mind to it. I did not. A few weeks down the line, she said, oh, I have someone for you. He's going to reach out to you, okay? Don't worry. I'm like, okay. My mind, I was just going to honor her. like she has put in the effort. So let me just let me just answer whosoever she's talking about. So I think that was, then you reached out somehow, and I think that was that's where we started from. Yeah.
Okay, so shout out to Maureen Adebayo.
Yes. Auntie
Because
Maureen.
we should probably just obey God and let herself be the vessel for this.
Yes.
You know, I think we're driving back home one time from either dress rehearsal or a church service, one of the two. And we're just having a conversation with her husband in the car, and we're just gisting, and she was like, "Oh, what's up now? What's up with marriage? What's going on with you? Have you seen anybody?" I'm like, "Oh, you know what? At this point of my life, I'm really not in the marriage, seeing anybody's space." And she was like, "Why?" I'm like, "I've tried with a few people, and it's not working. So I just really want to chill and let God do his thing." And she was like, she started throwing a few names around, like, "How about this person I see you with?" I'm like, "No friendship." "How about this person I see you with?" I'm like, "No friendship." "How about this person I see you with?" No friendship. "You see all these people? It's just friendship." Not you. Like, really? Like, why? You're like, why? I'm like, because it's friendship. Like, I'm at the point where I know with all these people you've mentioned now that it's just friendship. So I'm not even trying to play games with anybody. So why even try date them when I know already that it's nothing more than friendship with all these people? And she was like, "Okay, cool." That conversation ended. Then the next time, I think we saw her again, and she was all like, "I have somebody for you." I'm like, really? How?
Okay.
She was trying to describe the person, what they serve, what they do. I'm like, I mean, there's an usher in this church I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I'm too invested in what's going on in church to not know this person knew. He said, "No." I'm like, "Eh? Are you sure?" Then I'm like, "Are you sure? If I don't know the person, is that the person is not committed or the person is new?" Because I know everybody that is serving, and I don't think off the top of my head there's anybody who is in church that I think we can get married. It's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah," but I really can't even place who you are talking about right now. So I don't know the person you're trying to describe to me. She was like, "Okay, you know what? We're going to have our monthly leaders meeting soon where everybody's serving everywhere, comes to one location, and we get to be taught by our lead pastor." And, you know, that Saturday came. I was running late for that service. She was calling me, "I hope you are coming. I hope you are coming," because she's in church. "I hope you are coming." I'm like, "I always come for service. I'm coming. I'm just running late today, but I'm coming." So I showed up. Then she came and like, "See the person?" I'm like, "Eh?" This person. She was like, "What?" I'm like, "I know her now." She was like, "Then." I'm like, no. She was like, "Why?" I was telling her that, okay, from my back experience, I've had people try to do this matchmaking thing. Some of them try so hard. Some I've given into like 2 or 3. When the people end up speaking, and we just do the whole. So we actually started the conversation with, somebody gave me your number, and I don't know you don't know me, but we have a mutual friend.
Yeah.
I'm just reaching out to you out of respect for that person.
Yeah.
We don't need to be friends. We just need to say we talk to each other. And we can report back to the person, and we can go our way.
Yeah.
Some, I push them away and they forget about it. But I've been trying to push her away, and she was not stopping. We got to this point, I'm like, I kind of know this person's history a bit. I've heard a few things about the person, and I don't think I want to go there.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it would be okay to go there with my head. I'm like, "Why? What have you heard?" I'm like, "Forget about what I've heard. It's just, I don't think you're okay." She was like, no, okay, I'll talk to her again. I'm like, "Okay, you go find out." That left. It took a few weeks again. She came and said, "Do you know the person comes to my self group too? Come on Sunday evening. Leave your..." I'm like, "I have my self group. I'm not coming to..." "No, come to mine. You see her, you talk." I'm like, it was not obvious that this person, and we see almost, we're always in church for 3 to 4 times a week. And we see almost those times. And this matter was just consistent. I got to the point like, you know what? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Get me the person's Instagram handle. let's not do phone number first. Phone number will be too quick, too soon. Let me reach out to her online. Let's have a conversation. Then my plan really was, I haven't tried all these other ways to tell you that I don't want to do this. Let me take the Instagram number. I'm not even big on social media at the time. It's just something that I do. But I hope the person is not big too. Plus, the first impression I have of this person that was not pleasant, it will really mean that when I send this message, this person will not respond. Then I will screenshot. I'll wait like 1 week of no response. Now screenshot it and show her and say, I tried. Like, see, I told you that this person is not a good person. Like that, I think so. But
Wow.
that was my way of letting go, because in like really, like even after knowing it was you, I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested. I just let it be.
That impression was very...
So I sent a message. She got the Instagram handle. It took her a couple of days and all of that. So she got the Instagram handle. I checked it was correct and I sent a message, and I was just counting my days till the period I can say there's no way anybody who puts a post did not see a message or something, except whatever, just don't answer me, really. And we're good. And you answered. So that was busted. Now that you answered, I needed to reply. Not needed. It was just the right thing to do. And I had the conversation. I don't know you, you don't know me, but we know this person. I'm not reaching out for anything big. I'm not trying to get you to do anything with me. I don't even need friendship. Just let us be able to say we spoke to each other. We like each other as friends. Let this person rest from this serious mission that they've given themselves. But that conversation started building. We started talking, and the conversation was actually interesting. We said one thing, it led to saying another thing, it led to saying another thing, it led to saying another thing. And, I'm like, oh, this is actually... So when she actually asked how far, I'm like, we're actually talking, and it's not like we're actually talking. You're like, good. So for the conversation for us to not even move from, the Instagram to where like, okay, can I get your number? Because we're mostly speaking to each other maybe in the night. One person says, okay, I'm usually not online. So I'm like, okay, can I get your number so we could communicate a little bit more frequently?
Yeah.
We got the number. We're communicating. And it was good communication.
Yeah, it was actually.
It was good communication. It was not all my mental expectation that was going to be blockage.
Yeah.
Were not there.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any reason not to continue the conversation. I really was looking forward that, don't worry, this person will display themselves and that will be there. There's no need for you to.
Don't you be judging me
pressure.
too much. You never met
First
me.
impression matters. First impression matters. You can get second chances, but first impression matters. So that led to that. And it led to that. I knew it was a Wednesday where we're talking, then we spoke on the phone. People say, what's your first date? I don't think we had the first date. We just had the first... We don't have a first anything. Everything was just happening the way that's supposed to happen.
That was considered a date. Maybe not planned. It just turned out more than we expected. Yeah,
everything was happening. Because prior to that time, we had never seen each other face to face. We never had a physical conversation.
Yeah.
All the conversation we had was online. Even if we're still... Because it was really no rush for me. I was not trying to rush anything or look for anything like that. So, let's just be talking where we're talking. It's fine.
Yeah.
But then I just remembered, I was at the office and I was just doing the normal morning checkup to say, how are you? What's going on? Are you fine? Are you at the office? And he said, oh, you didn't go to work today. What happened? Oh, you're not feeling fine. Wow. What's up? Are you going to the office? No, you're too weak to get up and all of that. I'm like, okay, can I come and see you? And he said, yes.
That was it. Wow.
So,
like, who leaves his office?
People do that. That's what normal people are supposed to do.
Well, sorry, I wasn't used to that kind of thing.
Yeah, so maybe not everybody, but then again, that was not a special thing I was doing. It was something I could do for
you
anybody.
being yourself.
Yeah,
okay.
It was not. I was not.
Okay.
It was not. Which was something I also. It was a phase of life I was in.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it for anybody. God was just dealing with me differently at the time. But I recommend this. If you're going to have a relationship with anybody, do not start something that you know is not part of yourself to woo them. So, for instance, don't be leaving your office and going to see them when you know that when you start dating them or marry them and something is wrong, you can't leave and go and see them. Don't be doing that. If you are the person who will say, I'll come and see you after work, stay there. Don't approach people with a false sense of identity of who you are so that they can fall in love with that sense, but you can't sustain it. Don't do that. The part I wouldn't say you shouldn't not do is to try to be romantic, because what I was at that beginning stage was not romantic at all. But I had removed the romantic key, thrown it away, because for me, I tried being the romantic guy in other relationships and it didn't work out. You know, in fact, I remember somebody that even said I was just too romantic and good for them. So I wanted to get a relationship that I know that I didn't earn.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I was saying to myself is that I can't earn love. Love is given. You know, I can show myself worthy of love, but I can't earn it from somebody. So I don't want to do anything that will make me look like I worked hard to get to this person. So I didn't want to do anything extra. You should buy them nice things, show up. You should do those things. They are great. But I wasn't doing any of those things. But that was just my peculiar case, because again, this conversation is about you seeing principles, not necessarily our story. Our story just has the same principle that lines up with God's word. And that's why it works. But your story should not be ours. But be romantic. Guys, be romantic. It's nice to be romantic. But then again, I took off. I was expecting that leaving the office would be for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Because my expectation was I was going to come to you, including the drive and the transit time.
1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour. I'll come to you. In fact, less. Because, I mean, it's first time we're seeing face to face. What was there that we're going to talk about, really? And you're not feeling fine. So the goal was just to make sure, have you eaten? Okay, since you've not eaten, what do you want to eat? Let me get you something to eat. I get something to eat.
Aww.
You get drugs.
Aww.
You take the drugs, you eat. I go back to work. So, because I also said that I'll be back shortly at the office. That's also what I said.
Yeah.
But that took like 6 hours, thereabouts. Because we got there. I got there, parked, you know. I remember taking that drive to and telling God that, Lord, if this is another drive to see a lady that will not be fruitful, don't let me waste my time. Because I've driven a lot to a lot of places.
Long drives.
You know, that was long, so I didn't want to.
Oh my God.
It was something I had to do, but I just didn't want to stop it, you know. So, but, I mean, you're not feeling fine, but we had like a 2 hours conversation, first of all, in the car. We're just talking. It was like unforced gist.
Exactly.
It was like for someone that's, you know, and I'm sure you probably have met people that you felt like that with, but it was kind of different for me because it was maybe the first time I was talking to somebody that didn't know me, and I was not trying to force a conversation. I was not trying to sound a certain way.
Yeah.
I was not trying to be, I was just me. And I could tell that you're also just being you.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
actually, at that point, it was somehow same with yours. It was, I've had it all, really. I've had it all. And battered, heartbroken. I've left, you know, for different reasons. And at that time, it was, I've told God, I've done all. I've done this. I'm tired. Okay. So marriage was not, of course I wanted to get married, but it was not something I was kneeling down and, you know, I'm praying and kabashing and like, oh Lord, send him now. So, It wasn't there at that point. It wasn't. I was just going to live life. I was just going to live life with this relationship I was growing with God. That was it for me. So when you came up, I was like, okay, let's see now. So I was just being as you could tell, I was wearing a cardigan. I wasn't trying to impress or trying to wear a mask and try to be who I'm not, try to, be all prim and proper. There's nothing wrong with being prim and proper, but all I'm trying to say that I was not pretending. I was just being me at that time, really, having conversations freely and surprisingly, it was 6 hours spent. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6 hours we didn't spend 6 hours. We were talking all through, but we actually went to do a test, find out what was going on. We waited to get the drugs, had lunch, made sure, took the medication, took her back home. Before I went back I practically went back and closed, really, because that was it. That was all I could do that day.
Yeah.
And the conversation continued, But as it kept going, I don't think we went on a proper date for up to a year. Yeah, we didn't. We're seen every day.
What do you mean by proper date? Like
I'm taking you out, get dressed. Yeah, we didn't do that.
We didn't do that. But we're actually seen every day.
We're seen every day. We started having seen movies together, having conversations.
In the car.
Yeah, we're doing that all in the car. Again and again and again and again and again and again. And it was just a fun thing to do at the time.
It was really. It was.
It was just a fun thing to do at the time because, again, for me, I just wanted to be as truthful, as natural as possible. Then one of the things that I knew I needed to do up front, because we had, even if we didn't come from the same locality, like the same community center at the time, people just have a way of wanting to tell people things about people.
Maybe
people
your
just
guardian angel to tell you things you don't know about.
Out of good intention, by the way.
Of course, yes.
It's not like all of that. But before that, what did you not like? What was the first thing? What did you enjoy? Initially, when you saw each other, was it like sparkles? Like, okay.
Well, there were no sparks. There was no bulb, lightning, and, butterfly in the belly. Well, it was not there, it wasn't there at that moment. It was just, I don't know. It was just some sort of comfort. I don't know how that happened. Like that first day, you and I met and I was in the car. The way we just opened up and was just gisting and talking, like, to me, it was kind of divine. I don't know. But it was something I felt comfortable just being there, of course, that there are some instances where you meet someone for the first time. Trust me, girls, you meet somebody, you want to, or someone just call, okay, I'm outside your gate, can you come out? And you just look for touch-up makeup. I was not feeling well, for Christ's sake. I was sick, but it wouldn't have stopped me from just having a touch-up, just try to look nice. And no, it wasn't, there's nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't all that. And I was there, we're having this conversation. It was just peaceful. It was just okay to do what I was doing at that time. So, expectations, it was nothing. It was just being there and just gisting at that time and just getting to know who I'm sitting next to. Yeah. I've had, yeah. I think that was it.
Cool. Okay. So I think it was the same experience that the comfort and the peace led me to coming to this level of vulnerability that I could share a lot of things with you.
You're a sharer, Sha.
Yeah, I shared. Because I also knew that people were going to come and try to tell you things. So first of all,
you're not wrong.
The plot for me was I knew I understood that when God said, keep it private for 1 year. Don't tell anybody anything. In fact, especially because before now, I've always told my friend that, this is the one. This is the one. Oh, I found the one. Oh, so I was tired of not telling anything that I found anybody. So I'm like, don't tell anybody anything. You just be there.
Yeah.
Know the person for yourself. And
that was important.
Confirm with me about the journey for yourself. So my friends all knew I was dating somebody. I was talking to somebody because there was no tag at the time.
Did they ask you what?
Yeah. No, they asked who. I said they should not worry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm like, there's somebody I'm speaking to, but details will come later.
Yeah, I had to tell one
Just
person,
chill.
she had to see your picture.
There's someone I'm talking to, just chill. That's where I was then. But it made me tell you so many things about where I was coming from, past relationship, past events, what I was thinking, mindset, because people usually, I don't know if it happens where you are, but people see people together and they start telling people things. Oh, do you know this about this person? Oh, do you know this about this person? Sometimes those things can be good things, but in our case, they were not good things. They were negative things, I remember when I finally told my friends, they were like, give me a few weeks. I will investigate and give you. You know me now. I have information everywhere. So they took on the task of going to investigate. Boom, they investigated and all of that. And they came back with information. Go ask her about this guy. Who is this guy to her? We know and hear that she's seen on another person. Are you sure you're the only one in the picture? Are you sure of this and that? I'm like, you know what? Great, I'll ask her, which I actually did.
Yeah, you did.
Because I knew what they were doing, but I also had what I had the commission for myself for. And I think you also had similar experience with that.
Yes, I did. Well, mine was... I wasn't these people. I'm not that okay. I'm a kind of person where I listen to. If I've called you friend, I listen. If you talk, I actually listen. I'll listen to what you have to say. I'll try to actually, as I said, listen. But in this particular case, it was different because, as you said, first of all, you have to have the conviction for yourself. You have to know for yourself first, because if you don't, trust me, you get confused especially when people that you trust to an extent start telling you things. Yeah. So when these things were said to me, in my mind I was like, thank you, God. The good part of it is that you've already said some of those things. You've already shared. So when they said, I was just like, it's okay, yes, I've heard, it's okay. Thank you so much. I know you have my best interest. Go and find out though. I don't want your heart to get broken. I said, it's fine. So I had all that. But because of I had grown to a specific level, like I've grown to be able to know the difference when it comes to if I'm the one talking to myself or if I'm actually hearing God. Yeah. As I said, okay, giving an example, we have a daughter, and trust me, if I call her, she knows it's me. If her father calls her, she knows where to go to. Yeah? She knows it's daddy. She knows it's mommy that's calling. And that's because she has heard our voice over and over and over and over again. And that's what we should do, or rather, when it comes to having that with God. Try to be there and get to know him for yourself, so that when he actually speaks, you are going to know it's actually the one that is actually speaking. So I get to have that conversation with God and all that before. Thank God this information, they started coming in after I've actually had those conversations with God, because trust me, probably I would have been confused and we won't be here right now because of what they had. Oh God, I had a lot of things. And the ones I wasn't clear with, I get to ask, and we get to have this conversation over popcorn, over something in the car, and just talk about it. And yeah. So first of all, it's just getting to know, having that conviction for yourself. I get to know that for myself first, so that whatever is coming from outside, I'll be able to know how to tackle it. Yeah.
Which is great. So
Yeah.
talking about that, ours was negative, but sometimes it can be positive enforcement. People
Yeah.
say, I approve.
Yeah.
I know this person is good.
Yeah.
Regardless, you really want to spend time with God for God to be the one to confirm. Everybody has good intentions. So whether
Yeah.
they are telling you something that, watch out for, or they are saying, okay, we think this person is good for you.
Yeah.
You want to spend that time for yourself
For yourself.
to confirm with God.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want nobody will do the marriage for you. So you have to take responsibility for confirming for yourself. That's very, very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. If not, you make choices you make your choices based on the influences that came from people outside of yourself and God. And
Yeah.
this decision is one you have to make for yourself.
For yourself.
So boundaries we kept boundaries early on, Here there was the no sex, but other boundaries we kept was we'll always be talking,
Yeah.
which we've been talking then. Like I said, we used to see if we don't see, there's no way. Some people are there who have relationships where they don't talk every day.
Like
God
we talk
bless their
every
soul.
day, like from the first day
But-
till now.
But we
Like
don't
we
do
talk
that.
every blessed day.
We talk.
Wow.
But we're not just gisting, the eyes is flying, this and that.
You see me your dream. Oh my God, I love the color of your eyes.
No,
and all
we're
that.
not doing that. We're having conversations about what are your likes,
Real
your
conversation.
dislikes.
But babe, sorry, I just called you babe. I'm like, okay. So, but there were actually times we actually did that. Okay. What we're trying to say that it wasn't like the forefront. That was not what we were putting in front. It was more of where are you going? I remember the long list I sent you of questions to answer. So that was just like a summary of everything. Strong conversation, foundational conversation, trying to build a foundation. Sorry, I cut you. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's fine.
Yeah.
So it's those things. What you have going for you? What you have going for business? What's your plan for work? What's your
Yeah.
vision for children?
Yeah.
What are your values?
Oh.
And all of that.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I was going to set was there was no kissing. I usually would kiss in previous relationship. We won't cross sex boundary, but I usually would kiss. But then, there was a boundary with God that says, I want you to also not do that. I didn't have a scripture, I didn't have a reason, but I knew I had clearly when God said don't do that. And at that one relationship I wanted to have, and what even made the relationship to start was because, I was just talking to the person about what I'm going to kiss. And the person couldn't just... It didn't make sense. Like, what do you mean? You've said this one, I say, I said, which one is this one again? As in, why are you overly doing this thing? And I'm like, I try to explain. Now that I'm looking at it on hindsight, I knew that at the time, God didn't let me sacrifice kissing because He knew that I probably loved kissing than Him. He knew at the time. Just
emphasis on the ED.
Yeah.
Loved.
Yeah, just in hindsight because I've so given up kissing that doesn't even tickle me anymore.
Wow.
So, but maybe it was something that God wanted me to give up. So I could focus on Him. So I needed to lay it on the altar. And I was willing to do that. Kissing was just a very big deal for me. It was ingrained in my brain in an unhealthy way.
It was something you could actually just let sex be.
Yeah.
It was like, okay,
I had
normal.
no problem with sex.
Yeah.
But kissing, no, we have to kiss. No, you just have to kiss. So it was just that. And explaining it was a problem. Explaining it was a problem. So I knew that, this cannot be the person that I have to do. Like, you are not even willing to take the explanation. So that relationship didn't even kick off. So I was already prepping when I told you, I was prepping to explain why, but you just responded by saying, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Which was also one of the pointers and forces because one of my core values was God and obeying God completely. And that needed to be the same for whoever I was going to get married to. So core values were not just said, they were seen,
Lived.
and lived out. I was not imagining that, oh, we have a core value for obeying God in the future. Now let's disobey Him. No. The core values were things that I was going to say, I hold these things dearly. These are things that I don't joke with in my life. And I need to know if they are the same for you.
Yeah.
Will you be able to do them? And when you say yes, let's leave it out. Let's leave it out. So those were really, really things we're doing. Boundaries, discussions, values. We're not big on ice cream dates. I mean, those things came as passive things.
Yeah.
We still go out on dates, but we like inside house more than outside.
We too like inside house.
Yeah, because that's just who we are.
Yeah.
But we do those things. But there were solid things we needed to know about each other. And we needed to be able to say everything to each other and know that, okay, we're on the same page as to all of those things that we're doing. But for all the process, were there places where you now started feeling that, okay, you felt God's peace or God's approval? Or did you have fears, or were there battles, or were there things that, were like, I don't know, and somebody had to encourage you?
Okay. So, as I said, I already had an existing relationship with God, a growing existing relationship. And trust me, one of my there are boxes that are supposed to be ticked. Every girl has boxes, but trust me, mine was different. It's not that I don't like tall, dark, and handsome. In my case, it was tall, fair, and handsome. But those were not the boxes, please. There are ones that were very, very, very much more important. Which one of them was, I was not going to marry a man that will not take me to heaven. Yes, heaven is a personal race. But mine was, when I mean take me to heaven, was like, I wasn't going to marry a man that was going to dim the already growing relationship I had with God. I was growing in it. So I was not going to follow somebody that was going to even kill the small one I've already started. I was not going to do that. I've had previous relationships that were very, very okay, fun. Everything was good. But you could see that this relationship and the one I have with God was not just, this person was not helping me grow in this relationship I have with God. Instead, it was just taking away from it. And I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to be with a man that has not submitted himself to the authority of another, which is God. I will only submit to a man that has submitted himself to God. Yes, because how are you going to run our home? If you are not following that blueprint, how are you going to do it? So, me, I was not going to do that though. So, these were things I have seen, not just in words, they were playing out. They were actually lived, or rather, they were being lived out. I could see it in his words. I could see it in his actions. I've experienced it. Yeah. When you say a lover of God, now this is not to brag, but my husband is a lover of God. I literally get jealous of their relationship because you could see love. When they say lover of God, literally, this one is in play. I experienced it with him. So I'm like, okay. So these things were already there. These boxes were ticked. And then I've had conversations with God with these boxes, the questions are asked and we are ticking together. And then my pastor will say, if there's a presence of one of the ways God can actually show you that something is aligned is you having peace, the presence of peace in it. I had peace. There was just some sort of comfort that was there, that was in it when it comes to you, you know. So fear, maybe the fears would have come when I had all those, you know, backup people saying things. And trust me, there were things that could actually make someone just pause and like, calm down, girl. You sure you want to do this with this person? But the things they were saying was not aligning with the things I was actually seeing, I was experiencing.
And you're not afraid that maybe he was pretending or something?
Oh my God, I've had this conversation with God though, and if I had this level of peace, this cannot be pretense. If it was, God cannot lie now. The peace I had, the comfort I had, it couldn't, trust me, I've had relationships, like a past relationship where these things were feared actually. Like, maybe I've not had the conversations I had with these people, like this person like this person was like this. No, I've not had those conversations. Just seeing the person I'm with, I'm like, this one is like a bag of trouble walking on the road though. You know? No, there was no certainty, there was no comfort, there was no peace there. But this one, I've heard things, and of course, some of these things were actually true and some of them were not, but still there was no fickle of fear. I was just going to trust God and the place He has kept me. And the things I've seen you do, the things I was experiencing, the actions, I was just going to stay there. Really. Yeah.
So talking about that peace, or it's a peace I have felt prior to our meeting when we met during our courtship, even to marriage.
Yeah.
It's a peace I feel when I don't probably saying it out loud for others to hear for the first time. When I say even in a marriage, I'm not scared of it not working. It's not something I look forward like you can damn, you can scatter. No.
Yeah.
It's like I'm holding you too much to feel like if this thing doesn't work, then I'm scattered or my life is destroyed. My focus is to follow you. My focus is to do everything you've asked me to do. And I'll keep doing them. If it doesn't work, no wahala. But I'm not going to try hard to make the marriage work because I want people to say this is a perfect couple. In fact, if you are watching this episode, the focus is not to be couples gold for people or to make the marriage work so people don't think it failed. Focus is to please God. So I'm not even doing it out of pressure. So I get it if you feel like this episode did not give you the vibes and the feeling you leisurely get from when couples do podcasts. Well, because I love you, but I'm also not trying to prove anything to you. This is not how we are when we're in the bedroom. I just really wanted this to help you get the message more than the vibes of us sounding together. But the peace I derive, and I said that to you when we first met, that I'm not going to promise I'm going to take you around the world. I'm not going to promise I'm going to change your life. I'm not going to promise I'll give you everything you need. But I'm going to promise that I would make sure I follow God every step of the way. And I know that if I follow God every step of the way, all those other things will come.
Exactly.
And that is the one thing I hold myself to not do it my way, my thought, my pattern, but follow God every step of the way. Even our proposal, I did it for memory's sake.
Okay.
I didn't do proposal for... I see people who propose for... They're proposing and they get turned down. And I'm wondering, how you propose somebody and you're not sure will marry you? Shouldn't the proposal be like, we're making it formalized?
Yeah.
Then, or people get surprised that I've been proposed. I'm like, how you this is somebody and you're surprised that they're marrying you? The surprise can be that you're surprised that it happened now, or they caught you off guard in the moment.
Yeah.
But that's the person who you are dating wants to marry you, has that a surprise to you. Shouldn't your entire relationship help you know that we're going to get married. So our proposal was from marriage. We're already doing the marriage process and all of that. So the proposal was more like, let's have memories. Let's put something there to help mark this milestone.
And was that?
Yeah, yeah, it was. I still watch the video from time to time. It was great and lit. And it's important to do those things from time to time. But the core is, you want to have a relationship that you know where you are going to.
Yeah.
You're not uncertain about anything at any time.
Yeah.
Because people are not yet married doesn't mean that you don't know that, okay, you're going to be married. You doesn't mean you're not already planning the future together. You know, it's that Joseph Mary kind of relationship where they knew they were betrothed to each other. They knew they had the future together, you know, and God was just at the center of that. So that's the driving force that, you know, we had good friendship. You know, it was not fake. It was not, you know, we understood what our purpose was. There's something we didn't even talk about earlier on. It was the fact that we knew why God wanted us to marry each other. We knew what the marriage was supposed to do in the kingdom of God. We knew what we were getting married for. We understood that. We said it. We said, okay, this is what we'll do. This is what we are. We paid attention to praying more than posting more. A lot of people are more into posting each other. Yeah, we did it. I'm not even sure. I'm not saying we shouldn't post. Yeah, you should, but paying attention to praying more, communicating more.
Yeah.
We're paying attention to making sure that we're aligned to each other than over the entire going out and seeing and nurturing feelings and, you know, and butterflies and all of that. We're paying attention to your alignment. And it's important that for you don't rush it because we didn't have timeline. It's like we didn't know where we're going to. But there was nothing like, if you don't do this now, we'll not do it again. If you don't do this now, we'll not do it again. It was we're going here and we're going to let God lead us. Remember even when we're going to see our pastor and he was like, okay, I need you to wait. And we're like, we don't know, what does wait mean? And he goes, wait for how long, sir? Wait and do what? Just wait.
Just wait. And
we're like, okay, we're waiting.
Well, yeah. Our life goes on.
Yeah, after we just were doing. After a while, we're like, okay, see me. So it was nothing under pressure because it was really something I hope you can take out of this. And I hope the fact that we're not kissing didn't spoil it for you. That the God's process is actually clear.
Yeah.
Be friends, no purpose, align to your visions, have the same value, know where you are going to, don't rush it. Slow and steady, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
You also can have a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll do a version about the one that will cry. I'll do that in the future.
We just hope you get the message.
Or get the
message.
principles.
Yes.
Get the message. And that's how we're able to figure out that. And that's how, even in the marriage now, something I still hold on to when something is not going right. Lord, you led me here. I had you to come here. So what should I do now? So even now that when something's not going right, I don't go, did I make a mistake? Hey, cheat. I think I married the wrong person. No. I don't. That doesn't happen. It's more like, Lord, I heard you right for this. So what's your solution for this now? That's the approach that it takes and the form it takes. So, and that's the approach anybody can take, and that's the form anybody can take to move you from A to B. And that's how we dated. It was. Now I'm bringing the romance into it because then you probably have 1, 2, or 3 years of dating. Then you have a lifetime for romance to get into it. So you want to that courtship window. You want to get the foundation right.
So you want to make use of it very
put
well.
all these things on top of it and keep going. So somebody who loves you when you are just not romantic, be romantic, but I mean you were good, you were caring, and those were your lifestyle. Then as you started building, had the element of romance, of extra. They keep going, wow. But sometimes we do the opposite. At the beginning, you do so much. When you're not married, you can't do anything. You are finished.
You eat all the icing.
You're finished.
Then the main
You're
cake,
tired. You're tired.
you can't eat the cake
He said,
because you're
do the one you used to do where you used to date again. You're tired. So
So,
you want to balance it properly and help you get there.
yeah.
And it's just been that journey. So I'm going to say thank you for my wife for making out the time to do this. I'm trying to stay professional. Trying to stay professional. Get the message.
Yeah.
Give Dovey for the movie that is coming. Thank you so much, Mr. Macaulay, for doing this. We hope you learned something for this. We'll see you in the next episode. Of course, like always, like, subscribe, share, and help other people see this content if it blesses you. And we'll see you in the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.